Let's see this.
Happens when an actor wins an Oscar before the industry knows what to do with him. At 29, Adrian Brody became the youngest Best Actor winner ever for The Pianist, a role he was so committed to that he lost 30 pounds and abandoned almost everything in his
Oh
life for it.
yeah, I remember. I remember this was. I think this was the guy that. Oh yeah, he lost 30. Like he acted so much to where he was the character, and no, it just took a lot of. Let me shut up.
That win should have been the moment his career truly began. Instead, it became the moment his career spent the next 2 decades trying to live up to. He was pushed into studio films like King Kong and The Village, but nothing landed the way people expected. And as Brody kept experimenting, the risks started backfiring, eventually leading him to Chinese films and even one of the lowest rated films ever. But slowly, things started to click again. Television roles like Peaky Blinders, recurring collabs with Wes Anderson, and finally, a role that lived up to that first Oscar. This is the story of when an actor won an Oscar too early, and how it took the rest of his career to catch up to it. This is Adrian Brody. Before Adrian Brody ever won an Oscar, he was already building a reputation as a very specific kind of actor. The kind willing to disappear into strange characters, push himself
Mm.
physically, and take risks most young actors wouldn't
Oh, that's
touch. But early in his career, one of the films that was supposed to launch him almost did the exact opposite. Yet he came back stronger than ever. Born in Queens, New York in
W
1973,
Queens.
Brody seemed destined for something creative. His father was a retired history professor and painter, and his mother was a photographer. She remembered him coming home as a kid and acting out the people he met, copying exactly how they spoke. He performed magic shows at birthday parties as the amazing Adrian, but acting was always the focus. By 13, he was taking classes and later attended LaGuardia, New York's top performing arts high school, where
Oh
he gained
wow.
serious theater experience and appeared off Broadway. Around this time, he appeared in the TV film Home at Last and made his film debut in 1989's New York Stories, appearing in Francis Ford Coppola's segment of the anthology, which also featured segments directed by Woody Allen and Martin Scorsese. His early years in the industry were full of highs and lows. In 1992, he survived a serious motorcycle accident after being thrown over a car headfirst into a crosswalk, needing
Damn. This man, they basically said, bro, this man almost, bro, his career almost ended. His life almost ended. His career was good. What? God,
months to
holy
recover.
shit.
But the year after brought his first real break in
And,
Steven
and he's back
Soderbergh's
in
King of the
action.
Hill, where he played one of the friends of a boy living alone in a rundown hotel during the Great Depression.
You know anything about golf, eh?
Not really.
The film reviewed very well and Brody's performance stood out, giving him his first major role with a promising director. The mid 90s kept him busy. He played baseball in Angels in the Outfield, had gambling debts in Ten Benny, starred alongside Mickey Rourke and Tupac in Bullet, and played one of the scientists behind a military android in Solo. But none of these pushed his career forward the way King of the Hill did.
Mm.
1997 only continued that pattern with smaller indie films like The Last Time I Committed Suicide, The Undertaker's Wedding, and
The last time I committed, I think I've seen
Six
six.
Ways to. Smaller
I've
indie
heard
films like The Last Time I Committed Suicide,
who, who, why, what type of movie? The last, you know what?
The Undertaker's Wedding, and 6 Ways to Sunday. But that same year, he began filming what was supposed to be the biggest role of his career. And no, it's not 1998's Restaurant, where he played a waiter who dreams of becoming a writer, a performance that earned him an Independent Spirit Award nomination. No, it was Terrence Malick's The Thin Red Line. The World War II epic followed American soldiers attempting to capture a Japanese-held island and featured one of the most stacked casts of the decade. The film would even go on to earn 7 Oscar nominations, and Brody was cast as the
Damn,
lead character. The
damn, yo, 52 million budget, but they made 90. That means they grossed. Their profit was
film
40
would even go
mil.
on to earn
Damn,
7
bro.
Oscar nominations, and Brody
I distracted. What? Oh, I directed that one. Oh yeah. Not
He was
ironic. 100%.
cast as the
100%.
lead character, the
Yo,
role that
W movie,
carried the
bro.
story in the original novel. His publicist had already booked him for a Vanity Fair cover to begin the awards campaign. Everything was lined up for this to be his breakout. Then he went to an early screening and watched himself barely appear in the film. Malick's editing had reduced his role
I
to
think I've
about
seen this
5
one
minutes
before.
and 2 lines of dialogue.
Like I've
Brody
seen
had
clips of
no
it.
idea this was coming. The public embarrassment and potential career damage hit him hard. For an actor expecting his breakout moment, it was devastating. And while Malik
Wait,
was
what?
clearly
Wait, what
bored,
happened?
Brody had no editing. He went to an early screening and watched everything was lined up for this to be his breakout. Then he went to an early screening and watched himself
The
barely
video is called "When an Actor Won an Oscar Too Early,"
appear in the film. Malik's
and the
editing
actor
had
is
reduced his role to
that guy
about
we've been
5
seeing.
minutes and 2 lines of dialogue. Brody had no idea this was coming. The public embarrassment and potential career damage hit him hard. For an actor expecting his breakout moment, it was devastating. And while Malik was clearly doing what he thought was best for the film, not warning Brody or the other actors who were cut was not cool. But Brody pushed
Damn.
forward. Years later, he even said he was grateful he avoided major acclaim at 25, because as we would soon see, early acclaim can complicate your career. By 1999, he was busier than ever. In Spike Lee's Summer of Sam, he played a punk rock musician returning to his
Damn,
neighborhood
he's doing
during the
every
Son of
single
Sam
type of
serial
character,
killer
bro.
panic in 1977 New York.
My life is over, man. I
You
want
don't
to
gotta
die.
worry about that. You don't gotta worry about anybody coming after you or any omen.
He knew nothing about punk culture beforehand, but dove into the research and even broke his nose during a fight scene. In Oxygen, he played
Damn.
a man who buried a woman alive for ransom, going
Oh.
so far as to get real braces instead of wearing fake ones. And in Liberty
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. You getting real braces instead of fake ones, doesn't that just fuck your teeth up even though it's good? Like, that doesn't make sense. Why would you? Hey, he wants to be an actor. He wants to play the part for real. That's understandable.
Heights,
That's
he played the
understandable.
older brother in a Jewish American family growing up in 1950s
Hey, he's tryna-
Baltimore. It was
he's-
one of his strongest
he wants to be
views yet.
immersed.
If the Thin Red Line had launched him the way he was expecting, he might have never taken the kinds of roles that came next. But it was those roles that eventually led to his biggest opportunity. In Bread and Roses, he played a union organizer helping janitors in Los Angeles, even going undercover with real union members for research. And in Harrison's Flowers, he played a young war photographer traveling through Bosnia. The film flopped, but it caught the attention
Damn.
of Roman Polanski, who
That
would soon
$5
cast
mil
him in his
decrease?
next project. He kept busy with films like Love the Hard Way, The Affairs of the Necklace, and Dummy, where he actually learned ventriloquism to perform live on set before
That's
starring in
fire.
the film that
That's
changed
fire.
everything. In The Pianist, Brody played Władysław Spielman, a real Jewish pianist living in Warsaw during World War II who struggled to survive the Warsaw Ghetto and the destruction of his city. Over 1,400 actors auditioned for the role, but Polanski specifically sought out Brody after seeing Harrison's Flowers. And what Brody did to prepare was extreme, even by method acting standards. He spent months learning piano, practicing 4 hours a day so the film could actually show him performing Chopin before replacing the audio with recordings. He lost 30 pounds in 6 weeks, dropping to 130 pounds at 6'1".
130 pounds is wow.
Surviving mostly
Wow.
on boiled eggs, small portions of chicken, and vegetables. The production shot the film in reverse order so that he could gradually regain weight for the earlier, healthier scenes. But he went even further. He gave up his apartment, sold his car, disconnected his phone, and removed himself from everyday life entirely.
This is this is what I was talking about. Like, this man, he basically he was his daily life was the movie. Like, he was stuck in the mode of the character. But that's dedication though. Disconnecting your phone, selling your house and car just to be in the acting mode. Yo, that's dedication. I would never do that. But hey, there's a reason why this man's famous, you know?
He wanted to feel the same sense of loss his character experienced. Learning piano became the only distraction from this and his hunger. The result was one of the most powerful performances of the decade. Haunting, vulnerable, completely immersive.
It's a funny time to say this.
What?
I wish I knew you better.
The Pianist became a critical success across the board.
Damn!
Brody himself believed that he had no
W
chance
movie.
at the Oscars, even telling fellow nominee Michael Caine that he had not prepared a speech, but he won. At just 29 years old, Adrien Brody became the youngest Best Actor winner in history, beating 4 previous Oscar winners in the same category. But the victory came at a cost. At just 27 when he filmed it, the role pushed him further than he had ever gone before. And looking back, he says he would never torment himself like that again. He didn't work for nearly a year afterwards, exhausted from how intense it all was. Still, with the youngest Best Actor Oscar ever in his hands, Adrien Brody had officially arrived. And he'll need to have enjoyed that break because things were about to get very busy. After winning the Oscar for The Pianist, Adrian Brody suddenly found himself in a very different position. Not just as a respected actor, but as Hollywood's newest leading man. And with that came a new kind of pressure. Brody later said that after the Oscar, he was being judged less on his performance and more on how well the entire movie performed. He signed with a major agency that promised to turn him into a...
That's crazy. Imagine you just got your first Oscar, and now every movie that you be in, they're basing it off the whole movie instead of you actually acting. And now in your head it's like, if the movie's ass but your acting is good, people are just gonna say the movie's ass, and now the rating's gonna go down. The less people, it's a whole
leading
thing.
man, steering him toward bigger studio projects. But looking back, Brody admitted he wasn't fully prepared for the level of expectation that suddenly followed him. The first of those projects was M. Night Shyamalan's The Village in 2004. Shyamalan had been on an incredible run since The Sixth Sense, and Brody wanted to work with him. He lost the lead to Joaquin Phoenix, instead playing a mentally disabled villager in a secluded late 1800s community. To prepare, he visited a mental facility and even taught an acting workshop there. The film was a box office hit, but reviewed noticeably worse than Shyamalan's previous three, signaling that audiences were starting to get tired of his twist formula. The following year, he starred in The Jacket, playing a veteran locked inside a morgue drawer as part of an experimental psychiatric therapy. To prepare, Brody did isolation tank sessions and even asked to be left in the drawer between takes. The film bombed on release, though it later gained a cult following. But that same year brought his biggest mainstream film yet, Peter Jackson's King Kong, which was the most expensive film ever made at the time, and was Jackson's follow-up to the Lord of the Rings trilogy. To Brody's surprise, the producers saw him as their only choice for one of the leads. It was a 9-month shoot where he learned to act with green screens and did his own stunt driving. During a 3-month break, he squeezed in Hollywoodland, playing a private investigator looking into the mysterious death of an actor
They didn't do
in
that bad.
1959. He worked non-stop for nearly a year, but unfortunately, both films underperformed. King Kong reviewed well and critics praised its scale and effects, but its enormous budget meant it needed
I remember this movie
to be considered a real success. So far, Brody's post-Oscar run had produced interesting films, but nothing lived up to the hype. He was still doing what he always did, working with directors he admired, just on a bigger stage. In 2007, he began one of his favorite collaborations with Wes Anderson on the Darjeeling Limited, playing one of the three brothers reconnecting after their father's death.
I didn't watch
the
this
cast
movie.
lived together in India
It
with
looks good,
minimal
though.
wardrobe or makeup, and many scenes were shot on a moving train. But what Brody loved most was that Anderson let him be funny. After The Pianist, he'd been typecast as a serious dramatic actor, and Anderson was the first to embrace the other side of him.
Francis,
Yeah.
here's your belt.
Around this time, Brody noticed a shift. The big studio leading roles weren't coming anymore. He was in talks to play the Joker in The Dark Knight, but lost it to Heath Ledger, and was considered for Spock in Star Trek before it went to Zachary Quinto. That Oscar had left him stuck between character actor and leading man, and Hollywood never quite figured out how to use him. So Brody treated his career like a creative experiment, choosing roles that made sense to him rather than following the expected path. Unfortunately, that approach would soon start working against him. 2008 was busy but much lower profile. In The Matador's Mistress, he played the Spanish bullfighter Manolete. In Ryan Johnson's The Brothers Bloom, he played a con man alongside Mark Ruffalo, even teaching Rachel Weisz to skateboard and rap during production. And in Cadillac Records, he played the founder of Chess Records.
But
the performances were solid, but none of the films became hits. And things only got worse in 2009. He reunited with Wes Anderson for a small voice role in Fantastic Mr. Fox and played a scientist in Splice. But the real low point came in Giallo. He took it because of legendary Italian director
he's smoking in every single
movie. The director was well past his prime. The film was torn apart by critics, and Brody ended up suing the producers and blocking the release after they didn't pay his full wages. That one might have been better left shelved. By 2010, he was still experimenting. He starred in The Experiment, the poorly reviewed High School, and Wrecked, where he spent nights alone in the winter woods to get into character. But the film that best captures this whole stretch is Predators. He was offered the role of a scientist in the reboot, the safe and expecting casting for someone like him. But instead of taking it, Brody pushed back and argued for the lead. He argued that the role needed intelligence and toughness more than agreed to keep it different from the original, and he
Why is it doing that?
Still put on
Yeah, it changed. Did my mic audio change? No, right? Nah. I don't know why it's doing that randomly now. Let me just fix my cam. There we go.
25 pounds of muscle.
We're
The
good.
film did well at the box office, and critics actually liked him in the action role.
This planet is a game preserve. And we're the game.
Brody called it a personal win, not because it was a hit, but because it let him break out of the box Hollywood had been trying to keep him in. But it was still just one win in a sea of misses. And the next stretch of his career would push him even further from that Oscar before bringing him back to his peak like he never left. The early 2010s are where Adrian Brody's career hit its lowest point, but it's also where the rebuild quietly began. He came out strong. In 2011's Detachment, he played a burnt-out substitute teacher drifting from school to school. It's exactly the kind of role he thrives in, emotional and soulful, and many still consider it one of his most underrated performances.
For the rest of our lives, the powers that be are hard at work, dumbing us to death.
That same year, he had a small but memorable role as
Damn,
Salvador Dali in Woody
that's a
Allen's
W
Midnight in
movie.
Paris. Then things got messy.
He
In
did it very
2012, he
good.
appeared in the Chinese film Back to 1942, the first of several overseas projects that felt more like paychecks. The year after came Inappropriate Comedy, directed by Vince Offer, the ShamWow guy, which
Oh, wow.
scored a 1 on Metacritic,
Oh.
one of the low.
God damn. A 1? Fuck. That movie, yo, that movie must be
Worst scores
ass.
ever. It's the kind of credit that's
So
hard to explain on
ass.
a resume that includes the youngest Best Actor Oscar. He also appeared in Third Person that year, another flop. His one great film during that stretch came in 2014 when he reunited with Wes Anderson for the Grand Budapest Hotel, playing the villain, the son of a wealthy woman who's furious that a hotel concierge inherited her painting. By now, he understood Anderson's process much better, knowing which creative battles to push and which ones to let go. Along with his other Anderson collaborations, those films became some of his favorite to make, with the cast living in odd hotels together and having communal dinners. But outside of that, things kept slipping. That same year, he dropped the straight-to-DVD American Heist, followed by the Chinese epic Dragon Blade alongside Jackie
Not
Chan,
bad.
often described as a propaganda film, with critics now openly comparing his career to Nicolas Cage's. Backtrack was a step in the right direction, but September's in Shiraz and Manhattan Night continued the downward trend. Eventually, even Brody stepped back, saying he wasn't finding roles that spoke to him, and took 2 years off to focus on painting, something he's still active in today, although I'm not
that's
sure it's as
fire.
good as his acting. When he returned, things
That's
didn't
cool.
improve right away. 2017 brought Emperor, which was never released due to legal issues, followed by Bullethead and another Chinese film, Airstrike. Looking at this run, it
damn.
feels like one of the biggest collapses of a promising acting career.
Yeah, like, bro, this man won an Oscar, and then every single movie after, it just failed. It literally just failed. Like, I understand that he's the youngest actor to win a movie, but it's like, of course he wants to play other roles and stuff, but damn, bro, like, you do so good one thing, and then once you want to change it up or do something else, it just flops. Like, damn.
And honestly, his project selection really did
That
hurt his
really does
potential for
suck.
a while. But
It
this
really does
decade
suck.
wasn't as bad as it looks because something was quietly building on the TV side. For most of his career, Brody had no interest in television, but the industry had changed. Prestige TV was attracting serious talent, and the kind of mid-budget dramas he loved were disappearing from theaters. So in 2014, he gave it a try with the miniseries Houdini, playing the legendary escape artist. It was a perfect fit given his childhood love of magic, and he performed many of the stunts himself, even earning an Emmy nomination. Then in 2017, he
Okay.
joined the 4th season of Peaky Blinders as Luca Changreta, an Italian-American
That's
crime
why
boss
I
hunting
know his
Tommy
face so
Shelby,
well
a
because of
genre
that
he
movie,
grew up
because of
loving
Peaky
and
Blinders.
clearly enjoyed stepping into.
I heard you dress well, Mr. Shelby. But now I see. Not so well as me.
Going into the 2020s, TV kept rebuilding his profile. He led the Stephen King adaptation of Chapelwaite in 2021, but it was cancelled after just 1 season. That same year, he appeared in 2 episodes of Succession as a billionaire investor caught between the Roy brothers. His girlfriend loved the show and told him to take whatever they offered. It became one of the most memorable guest appearances in the series and earned him another Emmy nomination. After
That's
that
fire.
came Winning Time, The Rise of the Lakers Dynasty, where he played 80s Lakers coach Pat Riley across 2 seasons before it was cancelled. While TV was restoring his confidence, the film side slowly started improving as well. He reunited with Anderson for The French Dispatch in 2021,
Okay,
playing
good.
a shady art dealer in the anthology's first segment. And again for Asteroid City in 2023, where he played the director of the play within the film. He wrote, produced, and composed the score for Clean, a passion project where he played a
Wow.
garbage man targeted by a crime boss. He also took supporting roles in See How They Run, playing the murdered Hollywood director who kicks off the whodunit, and Blonde, playing the playwright and husband of Marilyn Monroe. Not all of them landed. In 2023, he still had its share of misses with
Ooh.
Manodrome, Fool's
I know
Paradise,
both of
and
them.
Ghosted. But then came the role that changed everything. In Brady Corbet's The Brutalist, he played Laszlo Toth, a Hungarian Jewish architect and Holocaust survivor who emigrates to America after the war. The film follows decades of his life as he adapts to a new country and takes on an ambitious architectural project for a wealthy man. Brody said he'd been waiting for something of this magnitude since The Pianist, but the personal connection ran even deeper. His mother's side was Hungarian, with his grandmother living in Nazi-occupied Budapest. His mother fled Hungary during the 1956 revolution, arriving in New York in a similar way to Laszlo. And his grandfather's Hungarian accent was something Brody used in his performance.
But most importantly, ugly. Everything is your fault.
The film was shot in just 34 days across Hungary, Italy, and New York, creating something massive on a budget under $10 million. They
Oh,
even
wow,
used
that's
VistaVision
fire.
for parts of it, a format
That's
no
a
American film
fire-ass
had used
view.
since 1961. But at the center of it all was Brody's performance. Devastating, yet commanding, with many calling it the best work of his career. And the
Ooh,
Academy
shit.
agreed. After more than 2 decades without a nomination,
Fuck you mean, ooh,
Adrian
shit?
Brody won Best Actor again, becoming the first male actor to win 2 Best Actor Oscars from his first 2 nominations. He also defended his record as the youngest winner, beating frontrunner Timothée Chalamet, who
Oh,
would have broken
wow.
it, and delivered the longest acceptance speech in Oscar history at 5 minutes and 40 seconds. And around that time, he made his London theater debut in The Fear of
Oh,
13,
I thought he
playing
got
an
arrested.
exonerated death row inmate, performing 8 shows a week and earning a Laurence Olivier Award nomination. The craziest part of this comeback is that it wasn't a reinvention, like what happened with Matthew McConaughey. The Brutalist was exactly the kind of film Brody was always built for, a deeply personal, immersive role that played to all of his strengths. Just like The Pianist. His career didn't need a new direction, it just needed the right role to come along again. And he
Yeah.
still hasn't accepted a role since winning, making
Oh,
sure
wow.
the next one counts. And that's been his career so far. Adrian Brody is the clearest example of what can happen when an actor reaches the top too early. He didn't win that first Oscar by accident, and he didn't fall off because he became a worse actor. He stayed the same, intense, curious, and willing to go further than most for the right role. The problem was everything around him. The expectations, the roles, the push to turn him into something he wasn't. And it took 20 years, a lot of strange detours, and one perfectly timed film for it all to finally click again. And now with a second Oscar, the question isn't whether he can reach that level again, it's what he does with it this time. So there you have it, Adrian Brody's career and all of his best performances. What
That's a WWW.